Hi there, it's me the Jonin Monkey again, and you may have noticed that I haven't been reviewing video game narratives recently. Well, this video is here to explain why. Part of the reason is that I've had a very busy 2 months, so my mental state can be roughly described as...
Mamma mia. Spaghetti.
This is bad in itself, but right now I really need my brain to help me deal with the writer's greatest enemy. Creative blocks. See, in theory I should be okay, since thanks to you guys answering a poll and me collecting footage for yet more games, I should have a concrete schedule to sit down and use for at least half a year. The problem is, when I sit down to write a script, I either can't think of anything to write, or I get stuck on one paragraph trying to find just the right way to say what I want to say until the whole thing self-destructs. This then leads into a big problem with my personality. Or to be more specific, my muse. Alright dude, let's focus. We are going to talk about reviews, we are going to do Shadow the Hedgehog, and discuss whether or not you can do dark themes with cartoony shaped animals. Whoa. That is an awesome butterfly. Where was I? Alright, yeah, Let's Plays. Let's Plays are very popular and... No, wait, dude, I got an even better idea. Shark wrestling. Because of this, instead of trying to get round this writer's block, my mind decides to either wrestle with its insecurities or start focusing on new ideas. See, I like the format I've got now, since it's easy to edit and these mugshots allow me to focus on delivering jokes through my voice acting rather than my camera work, which honestly, if I'm not interacting with someone or doing a sketch, I find really awkward and I end up having to overcompensate with hand gestures, so that's your official explanation for why I've stopped doing the to-camera stuff. I feel like it'd be funnier with my voice than with my hands, if that makes any sense. But anyway, back on point. Whilst I do like this format, I do start to wonder whether by trying to show these narratives respect and being professional, breaking away from the early days when, to be honest, I was just making other games for my own amusement, I fear I've gone too far the other way, and I've made the shows dry and humorless as a result. Basically, I'm trying to strike a balance between comedy, opinion, and analysis, and I'm not entirely sure how to do it, so my mind ends up wrestling with that. Or, as I've said, it starts to focus on new ideas. Specifically, it starts to create spin-offs. Believe it or not, I've had a million different ideas for potential spin-offs I could make. Part of me really wants to give the VGT Chronicles idea another go, either with Dragon Age again or Pokemon Black. Another part of me thinks I could maybe do a more comedic spin-off, where I play through a wrestling game as Richard. And then there are parts of me that want to focus on original stories, and other parts of me that want to make a podcast spin-off with Sven, like maybe Countdowns or something based on Fire Emblem, which if I was going to do that, I'd have to wait until I finished off that Fire Emblem talk through podcast thing we did earlier in the year. So many ideas! I want to act on all of these ideas, but I don't have the time to do them on top of VGT and Monkey Broadcast. So it means either I have to bite the bullet and pay someone else to edit this stuff, which might not be cost effective given that this channel isn't making any money at all, or I have to take a hiatus from VGT in order to get the other show started, which feels like a bad move after everything I've done to keep it to a strict schedule. Maybe I'll find some answer that satisfies the mess going on in my head, or maybe I'll find some way to just power through and get something out there next month. Point is, that's the reason why we don't have an episode right now. Still, it feels wrong to end this episode on a depressing note, so to raise everyone's spirits and get back to talking about video games, let's talk about some announcements I'm looking forward to. Whilst there haven't been any major announcements yet, there are still a few titles I'm interested in, assuming I ever finish the massive time sink that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. The first to come out will be Project X Zone 2, which I suspect will have the slow, ponderous gameplay of the original, but the previous game had great character writing and... well, let's be honest, when are you ever gonna see a game with Ryu, X, Dante, Yuri, Heihachi, Lucina, Phoenix Wright and Sagara Sanshiro in the same freaking room? Then there's Street Fighter V, which is getting a serious story mode for the first time in the series, and I'm looking forward to it since I've always had a soft spot for Street Fighter's characters and story, And I've got to say, the English voice cast, with the possible exception of David Mallow, has always been excellent, so I'm looking forward to hearing them in action again. Speaking of fighting games, I'm also curious to see how Tekken 7 finishes the Mishima family conflict at long last, as well as finding out why Akuma is involved and why Nina is suddenly wearing a bridal gown. You know, thinking about it, between those two games, the English release of Tales of Berseria and Rise of the Tomb Raider, I may soon have to bite the bullet and pick up a PlayStation 4, but it's too early to say anything yet. And of course there's Fire Emblem Fates to look forward to. And whilst I am aware of the controversies that have been surrounding the censorship of certain elements, as far as I'm concerned, the premise still looks good, and as long as the localization preserves the spirit of the original story, I don't mind teams making small changes here and there. Especially since, from what I've read, one of the changes was removing content that had rather insensitive implications in a support conversation. And finally, when I get a free moment, I intend to go back and play older releases I've never had the chance to, including Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, Devil Survivor Record Breaker, and Tales of Xillia 2. Oh, and speaking of the Tales series, Tales of Symphonia is now on Steam. If you haven't played it before, buy it! I cannot recommend it enough. Yes, some of it hasn't aged quite well, but it's one of my favourite RPGs of all time for a reason, okay? And that's all I want to say for now. Are there any games I missed you think I'd be interested in? Any advice and or desires to slap me for using you as my therapist? Let me know in the comments section. Otherwise, I've been the Jonin Monkey, and until next time, cheerio.